Hey everyone, my name is Hannah Osman, and for my book project I read Brain Rules for a Baby by John Medina, and it was a really helpful book to anyone who is like thinking about becoming a parent or who is already a parent and wants to know, how do I raise like a healthy, happy, not crazy, weirdo child. It had a lot of great tips. Two principles that I learned from this book that I found really helpful for when I decide to have children in the future. The first one was to praise effort, not IQ. And this is actually something that you think would come easily, but going to a small private school, like I saw this happen a lot, that kids just got praised for, things that came really easily for them. And not really for trying hard. So for a parent to know this really helpful tip can really help their child in the long run, like when they go off to college and it's not, just everything's super easy to you. You actually have to work hard for it. So basically what this means is like when your child's growing up, if something comes really easily to them, like math, if they're really good at math and so they're getting really awesome grades in their math classes, you don't say, oh wow, you're so smart, I can't believe this is, you're doing so great, because, they're really not trying very hard. It's just like naturally in their brain, it comes easily to them. You want to say, wow, you worked really hard to get that A in that class, or to get an A on that test, so they know, if I really didn't work very hard, my parents are sitting here, congratulating me for working super hard, but I really didn't. So maybe, it will make them feel like for other classes that don't come as easily to them, that they need to work hard and try hard, not just expect everything to be handed to them. And that will help them when they do get to a class that's hard and isn't like naturally easy. So that will really help your child, not just in college, like even in high school. I remember getting into high school and I was like, oh my gosh, I really have to try in all of these classes. It doesn't come easily to me. It was a huge jump, but my parents not being like, oh wow, you're so smart, even though you haven't had to try very hard so far. They said, I saw you studying hours upon hours for that test. You did really great. You tried really hard, even if you didn't get an A or whatever grade you wanted. I'm really proud of you for doing that. So that will help them not feel super discouraged when they get to college and find out that, you're not going to get an A on every single test. That will help them, not think, oh wow, I'm so stupid. It will make them think, I just need to try harder. So that is my first principle that I learned. And the second one is, let me get down to it, is the 3 legs to moral awareness in a child. This is super important for when a child gets out on their own and can do, whatever they want. Making sure that they have like this good moral conscience, when they don't have parents standing around telling them, no, don't do that, that's wrong. They're out on their own now, they're adults. The 3 legs, Medina described as the foundation to raising a disciplined child are: the first one is clear and consistent rules and rewards. The second one is swift punishment. And the third one is rules that are explained. So basically, just real quick what this means. The first one, clear and consistent rules and rewards. You want to make sure your child knows what they are allowed to do and what they aren't allowed to do. You don't want there to be any like gray areas, because those are not very common for a child to understand things like that. They only understand things that are explained really, really simple and where they understand what they are and are not allowed to do. The second one, the swift punishment. I remember this happening a lot when I was growing up, especially when I was really little. Both my parents worked, so my grandma took care of me. And I remember she would always say, oh, when your parents get home, you're going to be in so much trouble for this. Well, by the time my parents got home, 5-6 hours later, we both forgot what I had done wrong. And like the effect of the punishment had totally worn off by then. So, making sure you get on to your child, no matter how you do that, if you decide to spank your child, or if you, just put them in a timeout, whatever you decide to do, make sure you do it right then, because it will be most effective when they're like, oh wow, if I do this thing, I have to stop playing with my toys, or I have to stop watching TV, or I have to stop playing outside and go sit in timeout. And I really don't want that to happen anymore. So making sure you do it right that second, or, barely afterwards. Don't wait like 2 hours to punish your child. And then the third one, rules that are explained. I remember as a child, this was so frustrating to me when my parents I would ask to do something and they would say no, and when I would ask why, they would say, oh, because I said so. I remember that being so frustrating, and I see, other parents do that to their children, and I feel for them. I feel so frustrated for them. So just making sure that you tell your child why they aren't allowed to do certain things and your reasoning behind it. It could get them hurt, or it could get them, in trouble by somebody else, or whatever your reason is. Just make sure your child knows. Don't, keep them in the dark, because as soon as you walk away, they might just do it because they don't understand the consequences of why they aren't allowed to do something. So those are the things that I learned from this book. Hopefully they will help me when I decide to have children later on in the future. I hope they will help the rest of you who also read this book. So thank you so much. Bye.